everybody, I am Lauren Quigley and I make epoxy-free tumblers. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my very first video. Honestly, I have no clue what I'm doing, but we're going to wing it and see what happens. The very first tutorial that I'm going to be bringing to you is this beautiful celestial moon tumbler that I made, and I make epoxy-free tumblers. I used to make epoxy tumblers, and I made the switch to Crystalac products, specifically Brite back in early 2020, and I haven't looked back. Now let's hop into it and get right to the tutorial. I'm so excited for this tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the sun tumbler from my celestial collection. Now, this collection is inspired by the winter solstice, the longest night, and I wanted to bring something new that I haven't seen before, and I had this idea in my head and I just had to get it out. There's so much depth and dimension in these tumblers, and if you don't know, I use products from the Crystalac company. Now, what does that mean? It means that I am completely epoxy free and I use a non-toxic water-based product for my tumblers. Now, I have a sanded and prepped tumbler with white Rustoleum 2x spray paint, and then I'm going to be going in and applying my glitter with Crystalac's Brite Tone Gloss. The colors that I'm using are all from the Glitter Heart Company. I'm using Rusty, Chesnut, Biscotti, Butterscotch, Scandal, Sunnie, and Firefly. Now, Scandal, Sunnie, and Firefly are all really pretty opal type glitters, and I'll be using those on top of my more opaque glitters. So I keep my Brite Tone stored in a condiment bottle just like this, and I always work on my tumblers from the side. So when I apply my glitter, I go in with a thicker than normal coat of Brite Tone, and I always start at the base and I rub my finger in kind of like a circle, and then I'll do little drags of my Brite Tone and take my finger and squeegee it up the side of the tumbler. I want to create a thicker than normal coat so that my colors can really blend into each other and we can create that really pretty depth and dimension that we all love. So the first color that I'm going in with is Biscotti, and that is a fine XL from the Glitter Heart Company. And then I'm going to go in with some Butterscotch, and I'm just going to lightly shake out colors all around this tumbler. You're not going to see that white. A lot of the times I actually don't base paint my tumblers to match what I'm going in with as far as the glitters. So then right now I'm using Rusty. Rusty is another fine XL. The extra large glitters really show off a lot of sparkle. They're not quite a chunky. It's just a glitter that's in between, in the in-between there. I find that when I apply my glitter with a thicker than normal coat of Brite Tone, it really gives me that extra working time and it allows me to blend. Now, when I go in with my other coats of Brite Tone on top of this, they are not going to be thick like this first coat that I'm doing. I just want to make that clear. So I had in my mind that this is going to be a sun, and I wanted to kind of replicate the fire type look of the sun. So we're doing the really pretty opaque glitters first, and then I'm going to go on top and bring in the opals. The opals are going to make it so that you can see through them kind of into the colors underneath, and it creates this super gorgeous blend. And there's also going to be a stage in between here where you're doing your tumbler and you're like, wow, this kind of looks a mess. But don't worry, trust the process, keep going. It is going to look so much better. I mean, when you see these in the end, they just really, oh my goodness, catch your eye. Like, they are just so beautiful. Now, when I pick my glitters, I like to pick different cuts and shades that are close to each other so that we can really create these different looks that we're going after. So here I'm going in with Sunnie, which is a gorgeous yellow opal glitter, and it just really brings this tumbler to life and makes it look like fire and the sun. And the other really pretty color that I used is called Firefly, and that is also kind of like a reddish orange opal glitter. So now that I have my colors kind of laid out and overlapping, I'm just going to go over and make sure that we have some full coverage. over top of the tumbler. And any pieces that are left sticking up, I'm going to tap down with my finger eventually here. So right now I'm going in with Scandal, which is another really gorgeous opal from the Glitter Heart Company. But when using Brite Tone from the Crystalac Company and not epoxy, you want to make sure that your glitter is as flat as you can. And I noticed that when I apply my glitter this way, it naturally falls flat, and I can get off any excess with a good dry brush after the Brite Tone dries. So once I'm done glittering this tumbler, I'm going to let the tumbler dry overnight because I did a thicker than normal coat of Brite Tone. The minimum dry time in between coats of Brite Tone is 4 hours. And I say that's the minimum because, as you saw, I did a thicker coat. So we really want to make sure that we're setting up this tumbler for success and that it's really going to be dry underneath of all of this glitter that I put on here. Now, I'm really loving the way this looks. We're going to make sure that we get the bottom all nice. So I usually take my arm off my turner and I take my finger, put a little bit more Brite Tone at the bottom. And you see here, I'm saving this mixture because this is what, it's number one, it's a gorgeous mixture, but I'm going to put it on the bottom of the tumbler as well. When I do tumblers that have glitters that are kind of the same color, I love keeping those mixes for other peekaboos or tumblers later on because I have so many like dump cups, if you will, and they're just so pretty to come up with your own custom mixes, and this is one of them. So here we're just, while it's still wet, we're going to tap down any pieces that we see sticking up so that we're setting our tumbler up for success and getting our glitter as flat as possible. Now, I allowed this tumbler to dry completely overnight, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and dry brush off any excess glitter that may be on this tumbler. And I'm doing that because I'm going to be sealing this with Crystalac's glitter glue. Now, technically, I could go straight in with a coat of Brite Tone, but I want to limit or lessen the amount of layers of Brite Tone that I'm going to have to do to build up to that beautiful shine. So I'm going to seal this with the glitter glue so that it fills in all of those nooks and crannies, and in return will let me have less layers of Brite Tone. Now when I apply my glitter glue, I usually start at the bottom and then I take my favorite brush for applying the glue, which is actually just the Wet n Wild dollar store blush brush, and you can get that at the Dollar Tree. They're so amazing. They have great coverage. They're also great for paints as well. But, so you'll see here, I barely have any streaks. I start at the bottom and then I just put on the glue as needed, and I'm going to speed it up here because we all know how to apply glue like this. So I'm going to put this on, and then I will be going in with my second coat of glitter glue after 2 hours. So it's been 2 hours. I'm applying that coat, and I'm going to let this dry another 2 hours, and then I will be going in with my very first coat of Brite Tone. And remember, the whole purpose of this is to get my glitter flat and to let me use less layers of Brite Tone. Now I'll just put this on my drying rack and get into something else. So now that has dried, I am going in with my very first coat of Brite Tone over top of that tumbler. Now I'm not going to speed this up because I want you to see this in real time about how thin these coats are and how easy it is to apply. And I use my bare finger because I can feel it going on, and if there's a drag, if my finger starts to drag, then I know that I need a little bit more of the Brite Tone. And when I apply, you want to make sure that there are no drips, that you're getting a nice even coat, and you don't want to overwork it or over touch it. You don't want to rub it in because that will create streaks. It's really best to just put a layer on and walk away. So I let that dry for 4 hours, and now you can see I'm going in with my second coat of Brite Tone over this tumbler. And on an average tumbler, I would say that I probably do about 12 to 15 coats of Brite Tone. Now that may sound like a lot, but it's dry to the touch in 1 hour, and you can switch out your turners every hour. So once this is dry in the hour, I will put a different tumbler on this turner. But I'm going to make sure that I'm letting it dry a minimum of 4 hours. So now I let that dry, and I'm already on to my third coat of Brite Tone. Now, there's really not a lot of working time on these tumblers because it takes so little effort to apply a coat. There's no mixing, there's no PPE. You can do this right inside of your house. These products are completely safe from the Crystalac company. I have no worries. So I let that dry for, I'm speeding this up because you kind of get the picture. So now we're on coat 4, letting that dry 4 hours in between. And then this one is coat 5. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do after coat 5, because now we're starting to build up those layers where our tumbler is starting to cover the glitter and starting to feel smooth and it's not quite shiny yet, but we're getting there. And so normally you're going to want to sand and do a light sand every I would say 3 to 4 layers, but when you're first applying your coats of Brite Tone, it's going to take a little bit more coats of Brite Tone to really cover that glitter so that you're not scared to scratch it. So you'll see this is coat 5, and then I'm going to be going and doing my very first sand. So I'll be taking this outside and showing you what I do there. Now, because I used some of those fine XLs and those opal chunky glitters, it's taking me a few more coats of Brite Tone to build up and really cover that glitter. So you'll see now that they are semi-shiny. They are not completely smooth yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out and sand them, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm also working on multiple of these tumblers at once. So in the end, you'll see, I think I have three going of these. Now here I'm outside sanding. I'm using the 200 grit sanding pad from the Crystalac company, and I'm going in and making sure that I am really evening out the Brite Tone and getting it a nice and smooth surface, because after I'm done sanding, I'm going to be applying my decals and we'll be going in to do our peekaboo. You'll also notice that I don't apply another coat of Brite Tone over top of my sanding because I didn't feel like I needed it. Sometimes I feel like adding another layer of Brite Tone is just an extra unneeded step because I can't see the scratch marks underneath of my spray paint. Now I found these images in Cricut Design Space. I am a Cricut user, and this SVG actually had something else attached to it, but I went in and I just like cropped it out, and I only wanted to keep the sun, so I enlarged that, and then I did a bunch of these really cute stars, and my plan was to do the sun and the moon matching set. So in another video I'll be showing you how I did my moon. But if you've never applied decals before, there are plenty of videos out there showing you how to work your Cricut machine, and I'll probably be making a few here soon too. But I just cut this out with my Cricut, I put the decals on, and I remove with my transfer tape. This is just a normal medium tack transfer tape, and I like to use 651 permanent vinyl. I just feel like that works better for me. And but you can use removable vinyl if you do not have the 651 permanent vinyl. Removable will be just fine. Okay, so now I'm going to take you outside and I'm going to show you how I'm going to spray on top of these tumblers. So the colors that I'm using are from Rustoleum. I love Rustoleum. I have not had good luck with Krylon, y'all. If you've had good luck with Krylon, then I don't know what's wrong. But the colors that I'm using are Lagoon, Wildflower Blue, Light Turquoise, and Navy Blue. Now I'm going in, I shook all of these up really well, and I'm doing light bursts all around randomly on top of my tumbler. I also am using my respirator. Make sure that you're not breathing in these fumes. And I'm using wooden dowels that I got from Home Depot. They are very long and very large. I love these. I have a bunch of them, and I keep them in my garage, and they're just so great to spray on, and then I prop them up against my fence post and let my tumblers dry out there. So you'll see I'm just going in and layering all of these colors on top of each other. Right then I was just using Wildflower, and now I think that I'm going back in with Lagoon. Lagoon is such a gorgeous kind of teal. I really wanted to create the sky, you know, get those colors layering on top of each other. That light turquoise is kind of acting as our pretty clouds. And these colors are really going to make the orange and yellow glitters pop. Like, it is going to look so gorgeous. And you'll see I cut out some places because I am letting this dry. I'm not doing this back to back. Like, I'll let some of it dry and then I'll come in and do a few more squirts where I feel that it's needed. So here's some of the other ones that I did. I think I did 3 of these at the same time. So this is the one that I just showed in the video. And the navy blue was applied last, and it really looks so good on top of these. So the next part for the peekaboo tumblers is the peekaboo part. So I like to go in with my X-Acto blade here. I use this because this is just a really dull X-Acto blade that I've had forever. And since it's so dull, it kind of helps me just pull up all of those little itty bitty pieces. As soon as my spray paint is dry, I like to go in and start removing my decals. I don't like to let it sit on there because, remember, I am using permanent 651 vinyl. I want to get it off of there as soon as I can. So I let that dry really well after I removed all of my decals. You can see how beautiful this is. Now, her face of the sun is not shiny yet because, remember, this was freshly sanded before I applied my decals and did the spray paint. So once I do another coat of Brite Tone, she will be super shiny and so pretty. I let the spray paint dry overnight. It's been over 24 hours, and I am going in with this beautiful champagne liquid mica from the Crystalac company. And I'm just using the end of a paintbrush here, and I'm going in and just dotting all around this tumbler to make it look like more little stars around these clouds. So I'm going to speed this up here because you kind of get the picture and the point of what I'm doing. And as I was doing this, I had the really good idea to go in and paint in her lips because I thought, man, red would look so gorgeous on this. And if you know me in real life, then you know that I love a good red lipstick. So I painted on some red lips. I'm using my Arteza water-based acrylic paint pens. I use these a lot. If you've ever seen my tie-dye tutorial on Instagram, then you've seen me use them. But I use these a lot. Look how pretty she is. So once I let that spray paint gas off, and gas off basically just means that you're going to really let that solvent-based spray paint dry really well so that our Brite Tone, which is water-based, will not repel. So I let my spray paint dry for now. It's been about almost 48 hours here. I'm going in with my very first coat of Brite Tone, and after this, because I didn't add any overlays, this tumbler is very smooth. I'm only going to need 4 layers of Brite Tone over top of this to create that beautiful shine. So here they are after another few coats of Brite Tone, and then I'll be showing you the finished product. But look how gorgeous these tumblers are. I'll be posting the moon one soon too. I just wanted to get out the sun to you because I know that I showed some people in my Lauren Quigley's creative community, and I wanted them to have first access to this tutorial. So check out how beautiful these are. Let me know what you think in the comments and what other tutorials you'd like to see from me with Crystalac products, because I've been doing this for over 1.5 years now, and I really, really, really love creating. I feel like this is my purpose and joy in life. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Hey babes, I hope you like this tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on my other social media accounts. You can find me at Lauren Quigley Creations on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and I also have a VIP group that acts as my Patreon, but it is on Facebook, and it is called Lauren Quigley's Creative Community, and you can find exclusive discounts, live tutorials, so many great things in there. We do monthly challenges, giveaways, all that great jazz. It's such a fun space to be in, and I love to inspire in there and see everybody's work that they share with me. So if you'd like to join that creative crew, then you can definitely do that by going to my website. Spots open the first of every month, and you can sign up for emails so that you can get notified when spots reopen. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you enjoyed it. All of the products used will be listed below in the description, and stay tuned to check out these funny bloopers and takeouts.